This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. Food prices are surging, but prices are not going down anytime soon. President Biden is touring the country, pitching the Build Back Better. Not really sure who's listening, though. Bernie Sanders takes a swipe at Joe Manchin. I'll also play a video clip from Bernie Sanders. And there's $80,000 in mortgage assistance available, automatic $500 stimulus checks, and it looks like Russia is sending out missiles today. I'll give you the latest on that and some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers. I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, food prices have surged from inflation and could be slow to improve. So it doesn't look like food prices are going down anytime soon. U.S. households were spending more than 12% of their disposable income on food purchases as the end of 2021, and that's up from 10.8% at the end of 2020, which is still pretty high too. Then also in terms of January food prices, beef is at 16% higher than it was the same month 1 year earlier. Pork prices are up 14%, eggs up 13%, fish and seafood 12.7%, and chicken up 10%. Prices for everything from gas to food to housing are rocketing higher, but the Fed's best weapon for fighting inflation might not be enough. This may be a need for more stimulus. Let me read this to you really quick. So the Fed is taking the fight to inflation, but its best weapon could be hampered by the pandemic. Interest rate hikes typically cool inflation, but they can't heal the supply chain mess that sent prices soaring. Food and energy prices are also less affected by rate hikes and could keep inflation at worrying highs. So inflation doesn't seem to be going down anytime soon, and nearly 4 million children fall into poverty as expanded child tax credit ends. So there's no more child tax credit, not even a standalone bill for that. It was supposed to go in the Build Back Better. Nothing has come out of that yet. And Bernie Sanders takes a thinly veiled swipe at Manchin for siding with the GOP and opposing child tax credit checks. So Sanders indirectly jabbed Manchin for siding with the GOP. So what he said here in a tweet is, in January, the child poverty rate increased by 40% in just 1 month, jumping from 12.1% to 17% as 3.7 million children slipped into poverty. How did this happen? 50 Republicans and 1 corporate Democrat, which is Manchin, allowed the $300 a month child tax credit to expire. That is morally obscene. So let me know your thoughts on that. Should the child tax credit continue to go? Should there also be an adult tax credit to include SSI and also veterans and retired people and people on fixed income? Let me know your thoughts on that. Also, here is a video clip from Bernie Sanders.
We are living at this moment in the most difficult time of our lives. And I say to the American people, if you are feeling anxious, feeling depressed, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling confused, if you are feeling angry, you are not alone. Many millions of Americans feel exactly the same way. I want to start off with, if I might, some really, really good news. If you are a billionaire in this country or a CEO of a large corporation, for those people, these times have not been bad. They, in fact, have been very, very good. In fact, if you are one of the very richest people in this country, this moment right now has never been better for you than any time in American history. Today, corporate profits are at an all-time high, and CEOs, heads of large corporations, have seen huge increases in their compensation packages. You know, there was a time way back in the 1950s when I was growing up when CEOs did very, very well. They made 20 times more than their average worker. Well, if you are a CEO, the good news is those days are long gone when you only made 20 times more than your average workers. Today, as I am sure the CEOs of this country know, they are now making 350 times more than what the average worker in America makes. 350 times more. Talk about greed.
What are your thoughts on what Bernie Sanders had to say? Do you agree, disagree? So Biden still touts Build Back Better, but what does that mean? As Biden travels the country urging support for his plan, there is no specific bill and talks have evaporated. So even though President Biden is going around the country and talking up the Build Back Better plan, I wonder who is actually listening. He really only has an audience of one or maybe two, which is Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. The American people are kind of split when it comes to the Build Back Better. They just want out of the Build Back Better what's going to benefit them. But so far, it looks like it's just completely stalled, not going anywhere. When it comes to stimulus, millions of $1,400 stimulus checks owed to hard-hit Americans. See if you will get the funds. So this is just another reminder of the $1,400 third stimulus checks. You could claim it in multiple ways. Then mortgage assistance up to $80,000 available. So this is still available for many different states, actually. So this is going on in California, is offering up to $80,000. Arizona is offering up to $25,000 in mortgage assistance. Georgia is giving up to $50,000, and Oklahoma is giving up to $20,000 in mortgage assistance, as long as your mortgage balance is below $548,250. Then you can get access to that money. So if you own a house, definitely look into getting some mortgage assistance. Still available, still out right now from the $10 billion. Then Child Tax Credit 2022 update, way to get final $1,800 cash boost revealed as $8,000 payment available if you qualify. So what this is talking about, basically, if you got the child tax credit, you get the other half when you file your taxes. Even if you didn't make any income, you just file a simple tax return and you get that other $1,800 or $1,500 depending on how much it was. And then there's the $8,000 child tax credit you may be eligible to receive when filing your tax return. Spoken about that in the past, so it's an expansion and it can provide up to $8,000 and allows families to claim a credit worth of 50% of the child care expenses, meaning up to $16,000 for 2 or more children. So that's mainly if you have a family with kids. Now this one, families of 4 could get an automatic $500 stimulus check as cash is sent out to 500,000 Americans. Are you eligible? Spoken about this in the past too. This is the $500 checks going to Americans in Massachusetts, going out next month in March. When it comes to Ukraine and Russia, so Biden believes Putin has decided to attack Ukraine in coming days. Now, the biggest question I have about this is, why is Biden, as well as the government, sharing all these details about the U.S. or about Ukraine and Russia? I wonder why they're not keeping it secret. I still think there's something more to this. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it, but it just doesn't add up. So President Joe Biden said on Friday that the United States believes that Russian President Vladimir Putin has decided to carry out an attack on Ukraine in the coming days. Supposedly it's supposed to be this past Wednesday, but I guess it's still within the coming days. Biden administration has previously declined to predict Putin's playbook, even as Russia has deployed nearly half of its military to Ukraine's borders. In his second address this week, Biden reiterated the U.S. commitment to defending NATO allies should the crisis on Ukraine's border with Russia spill over into an all-out war. So he said, "We have reason to believe Russian forces are planning to attack Ukraine in the coming week, in the coming days." So here's a video clip explaining the latest and how Russia, I guess, is sending out missiles today, not at Ukraine, but just a sort of practice on today's Saturday.
Fox News alert at 7:25 in the East. Moscow has just announced they will launch ballistic and cruise missiles in planned nuclear exercises as early as tomorrow. Meanwhile, President Biden is warning of an invasion by Russia of Ukraine in the next couple of days. And Vice President Kamala Harris has been dispatched to Germany, where she's going to meet with the Ukrainian president on a mission of peace. Let's bring in Fox News senior strategic analyst and retired 4-star General Jack Keane. General, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Steve.
What do you make of Russia saying, yeah, next couple of days we're going to be testing our nuclear cruise missiles?
Well, this is an exercise that's done annually, usually in the month of October. Putin moved it to obviously February, the Saturday after the closing ceremony of the Olympics, in a phase, I think, when he knew that an invasion would probably be imminent. Nuclear weapons are not a factor in this crisis, for our audience to understand that. While Russia has a dramatic amount of nuclear weapons complementary to the United States, Ukraine does not have any. They gave up their nuclear weapons as a result of the collapse of the Soviet Union. But it's certainly, he's doing it to dramatize Russia's military might and power. And certainly this is something, this kind of hubris is something that Putin is truly all about. But we are in a different phase here, Steve. I mean, senior government officials are saying privately what the president is saying publicly, that Russia does intend to invade, and we're just several days from that. We're in a phase, it appears to be, where Russia is trying to justify the invasion. There's been 40 firing violations in eastern Ukraine, all designed by the Russian separatists to provoke the Ukrainian military into a response. The Russian ambassador who followed Secretary Blinken yesterday in his speech to the United Nations Security Council said that the Ukrainians are conducting genocide on the Russian people that are living in eastern Ukraine. This is all a false narrative that normally the Russians do prior to conducting some kind of military incursion, and we appear to be in that phase, Steve.
Right. We've seen this movie before. General, three people asked me yesterday, they said, do you think there's going to be a war? And I said, do you mean invasion? I think there's going to be an invasion, absolutely. And they say, well, then what does that mean for the United States? Because I think a lot of people worry that we will get sucked into it. But Joe Biden made it clear the other day, we're not going to send any troops to be in combat against the Russians.
Well, we've had three successive presidents, Obama, Trump, and Biden, all who want to help Ukraine defend itself, but because it's not a NATO nation, would not commit troops to defend it. And certainly the United States has made no preparations whatsoever with the Congress to go to war with Russia over Ukraine. But my problem with this is it's going to be a war for the people on the ground in Ukraine, for sure. And that's indisputable for civilians and also for their soldiers. And it'll be horrific, as it always is. But the problem I have with the U.S. policy, if we made that statement, we're going to help Ukraine defend itself, we're not going to put our troops there, then why didn't we go all out to do that? I mean, here we are, they're going to test cruise missiles and other things. Ukraine has no defense against any of Russia's missiles, not a very good defense against their rocket artillery, and a very limited defense against their air power. They just have shoulder-fired Stinger missiles, and we didn't give them to them. The Baltic states did. And that's sort of we should have given them the air defense systems that they need, the electronic warfare systems to counter the Russians, some real significant military aid. The anti-tank weapons we gave to them, certainly good. Small arms, certainly good. But we weren't all in, Steve, is the problem I have, in trying to help them really have an increased military capability to impose cost on the Russians to make them think twice about the invasion.
What are your thoughts on what's going on between Russia and Ukraine? Should Russia just back off? Should we all live peacefully and live a happy life together as diplomatic countries? Or do you even care about this? Let me know down in the comments below. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Bye. And hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. That's just my sister clip, but now we're doing my clip. So what I'm talking about now is to you, like when someone's hurt, you should definitely help them, because that if it's like really bad, then you should actually help them. Like I helped a couple of my friends and they loved it. So that's what I want to say for today. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. So today Bella has her kickboxing tournament, her very first one. So actually just gonna finish up this video and we're gonna head over. It's an hour and a half away from us. excuse me, in South Carolina. So, yeah, I'll let you know tomorrow how it goes. I'll show you some video footage as well. And yeah, gonna wish you luck. Anyways, if you want to check out my latest Wise Buys product review video, you could click up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.